took to the streets of Wellington this afternoon and I asked this question. Do you think it's demeaning or offensive to put a Maori figurehead and print it on, say, a shower curtain or a cushion?
Yep.
Oh, no, not really.
Yes, I do.
I don't think so.
I'm not really sure.
I guess it depends on where the image originated and who has the rights to it.
It's terrible cultural appropriation.
Not for people that have visiting New Zealand and want to take home some sort of representation of what they saw.
Why it's offensive? It doesn't offend me.
If it's just to make money, then it is offensive. I mean, those are taonga, so we need to respect that.
Well, with like a mook and that kind of stuff, it's a cultural standpoint. And then when you put it on a shower curtain, then you're taking away all the meaning and the cultural significance of it.
Just down the road here, you're selling Frida Kahlo cushions, you know?
Yeah, no, that's a valid. I guess, though, she's a person and this is a culture and it's part of our heritage and who we are, so I think we need to show respect for that.
If there's a little bit of cultural appropriation, that needs to be kind of checked, you know. And obviously, I'm not really the one that knows what's appropriate and what's not, but I think definitely it's important to be aware.
Very interesting stuff. Peter, I want to go to you first. What do you think about this cultural appropriation issue? Let's start with that example of the Maori. Is it a lindau on the shower curtain? Is it offensive?
Well, it doesn't really matter whether it's a lindau or not, and it'll depend on how you grew up in the culture. And for me, any depiction of the human body is offensive.
What about the Queen on a cushion? What about Frida Kahlo?
Same thing. I wouldn't.
But they're selling it.
Well, they may be selling it. That doesn't mean to say that I agree with it.
Or that I would buy it.
What about you?
I mean, I wouldn't want to sit... Well, hold on. Would I want to sit my backside on a cushion with the Queen?
What?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
You tell me. You tell me.
But that's look. Even just uttering it makes it sort of offensive, right? And so that's the thing.
But it's a souvenir.
No, but it's about your understanding of where the culture comes from.
Yeah.
For us, when we saw moko mokai, which is the Maori head, the preserved head, that is on a picture, on a shower curtain, that is highly offensive, deeply offensive to me. And so we made that known to the company.
Okay, then. So you've got US teams now doing the Haka. I mean, is that cultural appropriation or is that sort of, is that honouring?
Imitation is the greatest form of flattery, I guess. But look, culturally, yeah, it is offensive, but I think the more that we let out our culture into the world, we're just going to have to expect this. And sadly, we're just going to lose control of these images and these icons. But, you know, we would have grown up knowing that the head and putting their head on things like that is just totally offensive. Just like we don't put our backsides on tables where food's going. These are the things as Maori we just grow up knowing, and to see other cultures do these things, they do it through ignorance, and they can't be blamed because they don't know. But you know, for us, we are offended culturally.
Before we go to the audience, do you agree with this, Shane?
Yeah, I do. I actually agree with what Calvin said. We have to remember that what's in an overseas jurisdiction is out of our hands. But I think we have that responsibility to educate and convey issues of respect. Cultural sensitivity, authenticity, let's make sure it's authentic, and attribution. Where does it come from? I think that's important.
And we also have to remember how we actually culturally appropriate other, like, you know, you go into pubs and you see those blow-up sumo wrestlers and that, you know, that would probably be offensive to the Japanese or, you know, there's any number of...
And what about the Disney example? You brought up the Disney example of Maui.
Yeah, I don't have any issues with that. The question was, is this showing an obese Polynesian? That was the issue that was raised. I don't believe so. Maui was very powerful. He's heavy set. And if you look at him, his chest musculature... He's not. His chest musculature is in the same plane as his abdomen. You can see biceps, triceps, deltoid. He is a muscular... He's heavy set.
He looks fat, and it was buying into the stereotype of the obese Polynesian. It looks like... Looks like a Polynesian who fished up the North Island, deep fried it and ate it.
So racist. It's racist.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yes,
it buys into
is.
the whole stereotype.
Listen, Wallace, the fact is that when the settlers came to New Zealand, they described us in their own journals as being the epitome of health, described on a par with the richest European... That's right, richest European royals.
Peter, that heavy-set Polynesian or fat... What do you make of that?
Well, personally, I didn't see it in the light that some people did see it because, you know, it was a Disney production. that sort of thing you expect. But I think for me what was more important was what did that character depict? And quite clearly it was intended to remind us of the role that Maui had in our history.
Okay, very interesting stuff. Ali Ikram.
What did you think of the depiction of Maui? You can tell that Dr. Reti got an A in anatomy at med school, but when you saw that striking physique, what did you think?
Maui in the cartoon looks sort of like a cube. So he's not a realistic depiction of a human. He's sort of, his body shape is clearly quite different to Moana, who's very thin and almost like a different species to him. He's obviously he's bred from rocks or something.
You're going to tell me that Bambi died at the end of that movie as well, aren't you?
I don't want to spoil it. But it's one of those things where I think if you're dealing with a mythical creature and a mythical character in a cartoon, it's hard to put your finger on exactly whether we should feel some form of body shame insult on his behalf.